Hi, my name is Erika Gragg. I'm going to tell the story about how Child Protective Services in North Carolina stole my 4 children. YouTube is only going to allow 15 minutes, so I'm going to have to make it a pretty short story, but there's a lot more than what I'm going to be able to tell on here today that has happened in my case. But these are my 4 children: Dakota, Aaliyah, Destiny, and Sierra, who have been stolen by Child Protective Services in Catawba County and in Caldwell County. It all began back in 2007 when a lady from my daycare that my children attended acted as my friend. Her and her new husband could not have children, so therefore she started calling DSS on kids at the daycare and asking them to be placed with her because they were comfortable with her. All her effort finally paid off when she contacted CPS about me, stating that I was an inappropriate caregiver, saying that I was a drug addict. Then they said my mother was an inappropriate caregiver, that I was leaving my children with my mother. I passed all the drug screens. My mom volunteered to take drug screens, but they would not allow her to do so to prove the allegations to be not true. So anyway, I continued to work a case plan for Caldwell County where they had my kids in custody and placed them with a lady from the daycare into foster care and started paying her funds because that's what CPS does. They take people's children for no reason because they are offered government funds to do so. And they're stealing these funds. It's gotten out of control where CPS is now taking people's children for no reason, and we're not even working with the parents to get them home. They're working against the parents to get these children adopted out because they get more funds and bonuses when they get these children adopted out. So now, in my case, this lady from daycare is willing to adopt my children. So what do you think happens? They don't give me a chance. They are working against me to keep my children and to have her adopted because they're working towards that big old bonus. So anyway, I worked my case plan, and even though my case was in Caldwell County, I was living in Catawba County. So therefore, they're supposed to switch my case, but they never did. Um, so anyway, I got pregnant, and with my new baby in 2008. My other case started, remember, in 2007. So I got pregnant, and I gave birth to my baby girl Sierra in September 2008. Catawba County, where I was residing, says that I'm a fine mom. That Sierra passed her drug screen when she was born. I passed a drug screen. Her daddy passed a drug screen. We had a home, a car, jobs. They left my daughter in the home with me. They did not take her, which doesn't make any sense to me. Children are being left in the home when other children are being taken away. Catawba County was saying I was a great mom. Caldwell County says, no, we're not sending these kids home. She's not a great mom. I was forced to work 2 different case plans for 2 different counties at the exact same time. One county says I'm doing great. The other county says I'm not. One county says I can have my child. The other one says I cannot. So then, therefore, for 6 months, this continued on. I was allowed to keep the baby, and then my termination parental rights hearing came up in Caldwell County on my oldest 3 children. I went to court. They took me into a conference room before court started and said we had to hurry because my case was up next. They had about 10 different people in there, government officials. They had my social worker, Summer Nicholas. They had her supervisor. They had the guardian ad litem. They had a notary public thing to sign the paperwork or whatever, and my attorney, and then their attorney. And then they had the lady from the daycare who had my children, who was willing to adopt them, on speakerphone. She stated to me, begged me, please, Erika, just sign the paperwork. I'm going to adopt the kids. I'm never going to keep them from you. Just do what they're asking you to do. Do this because if you don't, and the social worker stated this too, that Summer Nichols stated it, if I did not sign the paperwork and voluntarily sign my rights over, that I would lose my new baby also. So therefore, I was coerced and threatened with my new baby. If I did not sign the paperwork, they would remove her too. I cannot have any more children. I've had a tubal ligation. So therefore, I was scared to death I would lose my only child. So therefore, I thought either I can lose 3 of my children and still be able to see them, or lose all of them and not see any of them. So that was a very hard choice, and I did not sign my rights over voluntarily. I even asked my attorney after that to please appeal it. I did not want to sign them over. I didn't understand what I was signing. I didn't read the paperwork. They didn't let me read the paperwork saying that we had to hurry. So anyway, I signed it, and my attorney did not appeal it. So anyway, so about a month and a half later, my social worker in Catawba County comes to my home and she says, Erika, as a friend to friend, please, my supervisor, Jennifer Miller, says that if something about it, they was going to file a petition because they've been getting anonymous phone calls. saying that I was still leaving my child with inappropriate caregivers, this and this and this and this. I was on drugs, even though I've been passing drug screens for I'm going on 2 years at the time, and everything. I said, how are you still using these allegations of drug abuse and drug-seeking behaviors and all this other stuff? And they said, well, just keep getting reports and keep getting reports. Well, that's not enough that's not enough of a reason. You know, I done showed the proof that I was not a drug addict. But anyway, so she said, please, can you go to South Carolina where you wanted to move to, get your place to live and a job, and come back? I said, whatever I have to do to keep my daughter. So that's what I did. Court was scheduled for May the 4th. This was about a week before that. So I left, went to South Carolina, got me a little one-bedroom apartment set up. I was going to rent a one-bedroom apartment from a lady who owned a motel in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. And then I got me a job at a little restaurant or whatever set up for when I came back. So I went to court on that Monday. That Monday morning, Judge Edwards was the one that heard my case. Judge Owsley was the one who took my other children, okay? Judge Owsley is the one who never gave me a chance with my other children or anything. And, let's see here, I'm trying to find the right paperwork to show to y'all. Judge Edwards gave me permission to move to South Carolina with Sierra that day. He seen no reason to remove her. But what I'm getting ready to show you is going to blow your mind. They illegally went to another judge 4 or 5 hours later and had that judge remove my daughter. Guess who the judge was? Judge Suzanne Owsley. She was the one who illegally removed my daughter. They went to her not even, here it is. They went to her not even 4 hours later, I believe, 4 or 5 hours later. They waited till that Judge Edwards went home, and they had her. This is what happened. You look here. You can see the date on there. You see the date, May the 4th, 2009, at exactly, you see that highlighted, 5:41 p.m. And then we're going to go over here to the highlighted name. Let's see if I can find it right here. Highlighted name, Suzanne Owsley. So exactly 5:41 p.m., 41 minutes after the courthouse closed and Judge Edwards went home, they went to Judge Owsley, who removed my other children because they knew she did not like me, and that is called judge shopping. That is a federal crime. Big law broken in my case. And the only reason they gave her, first of all, they did not advise her that there was a court hearing earlier that morning, and they had her remove my daughter illegally. They told her, and the only reason they gave to remove my daughter was that they could not verify my address, which was a lie. I have paperwork proving that they did verify the address, and they said it was a motel, which it was a motel. I gave them the number to the landlord who owned a motel, but mine was a little one-bedroom apartment. Then they said that they got an anonymous call saying that I was taking my mom with me, who still to this day has not been proven to be any form of inappropriate. Said I was taking my child's father with me. Yes, I was. But they said he was inappropriate because he had charges from years ago on his criminal history, probably 8 to 10 years ago. Okay. And then they said my cousin Jamie, who CPS has stolen her child too, because they have actually targeted our family. But anyway, they took my daughter, and I asked them to place her with her grandmother, who worked for the Catawba County Sheriff's Department. They said no, they could not because they had to do an assessment on her first. But they would place her with the lady who has my other children's mother, who they said lied to me and said was a foster home, a licensed foster home. Come to find out, I got the paperwork for that too. Excuse me. She was not a licensed foster home anymore. They actually she does not have foster license anymore, foster care license. They actually did not even approve her to be a licensed foster home when DSS tried to get her approved. They tried to hurry and get her approved and hide what they were doing. She was not approved, and they said they were concerned for the reasons why she was not approved. So my daughter was placed in a non-licensed foster home. They did not place her with her grandmother, which by law, if a child is removed from their biological parents and put into and placed with an immediate family member, they do not have to have an assessment, a pre-assessment. They can do one after they're placed there. They do not have to have one before. So that's another law they broke in my case. Not only that, if you look here, let's see, if you look here, my case continued. Okay, a case is supposed to be reviewed at least every 90 days, and my case was continued. From a case was heard in October, and they said I was doing perfectly fine. Everything was going good. Everything was fine. They even increased my visitation, and Judge Owsley was my judge again because they was requested her to be my judge. So anyway, they gave me some increased my visitation or whatever. Make a long story short, I continued to do everything they asked me to do. I was ordered to do parenting class. As you can see here, I completed my parenting class. There it is. Completed my parenting class. So then we go on to, we get here where, if you look right here, this was prepared by Angie Caraway. Here's Angie Caraway's name. And there's the date of 3/16/2010. A year now has passed, and my daughter was not returned yet. But it plainly says here, okay, when parents complete case plans, your children are supposed to be returned to you. It says here, this is about 45 days before they gave guardianship of my child. Yes, they did not return my daughter home. They gave guardianship to the lady who has my daughter now, which is the lady's mother, who has my other children. But it plainly states right here, Erika has shown Social Worker Caraway that she has addressed all social workers' former concerns. Erika is excelling in every area of her case plan and has completed everything in her case plan with the exception of her continued therapy. She has been very cooperative with the agency. She is working intensively in therapy, and there has been no recent evidence that she is maintaining contact with inappropriate caregivers or inappropriate people. There have been no recent reports of harassment of any kind, and there's no been reports that she's having contact with anybody inappropriate or even her mother. Yes, I even stopped having contact with my mother in order to try to fight for my daughter, even though my mother was not a bad person. Done anything they asked me to do to get my daughter back, and she still was not returned. Social worker feels that Erika sees that the agency will not continue reunification efforts unless these issues are seriously addressed, and Erika has worked hard to address all social workers' former concerns. That is proof. I completed everything they asked me to do, and my daughter still was still not returned home. Then who gets their children back? Nobody. People are getting their children stolen every day by CPS, and their children are not being returned. I've completed everything they've asked me to do. And also, my case was heard in October, and my case was not reviewed again until May, which is 8 months later. So I did not go back in front of a judge for 8 months. You know, if they're trying to get your children home within 6 months, but as you can see, my child was not returned to me. So therefore, and also here it says that they try to say that I had a mental problems, that I had post-traumatic stress syndrome. I hired my own doctor, and my doctor plainly states there is no indication that Ms. Gragg suffers from post-traumatic stress syndrome or has any symptoms associated with this. Proof their allegations were lies against me. This is where I wrote to senators and stuff about my case. But anyway, this right here is also, if you look, I gotta hurry because this time's about another minute. If you look right here, 3/24/2010. If you look right here, it says weekly unsupervised visits Monday through Wednesday with Ms. Gragg, and this was supposed to go into effect on 3/16. I never saw those visits. That right there proves I've done everything I was supposed to do. But in May, that was in March, in May, they said since I got driving charges, and to this day, May 2010 is when I got the driving charges, between April and May. I've still not to this day been convicted of it, and it is now February 2011. Still not been convicted, but those are the reasons they used against me to keep my daughter. But anyway, that was the only reason they kept to keep my daughter, but now I'm fighting for my daughter. I am going on this show, Wally Drake Show. You can contact him. Send your stories to wally@att.net. Call these phone numbers, 800-839-3002, and the 714 numbers. These are the 3 lines that you can call the talk shows that I am on. I'm also, my information, Erika Gragg's my name, and Fight CPS is my Facebook page. Also, I have a really dear friend out in California. Her name's Sarah Sandy, and you can find her Facebook page at OCCA CPS Corruption. These are our 2 Facebook pages. Families, contact us. Write your stories to Wally, and call these numbers to be on his radio shows. 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. California time, and then 12 p.m. and 8 p.m. my time.